Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire.
It's Speed Freaks, motorsports radio redefined with Kenny Sargent,
Crash Gladys,
and Statman. Here's the Freaks.
You know, we've had full motorsports weekends, Freak Nation, and drag racing, NHRA wasn't even happening. IndyCar wasn't even happening. Supercross was. The finale in Salt Lake was. Crasher and I were there. We had Richard C. Suave and Statman manning the TV this morning, watching all the NASCAR and Formula One they can handle. Well, okay, all the Formula One they can handle, Statman.
You're just teeing them up.
It's an interesting weekend to be a motorsports fan here in the States. How you doing on a Sunday night? Speed Freaks, Lucas Oil Studios, 22 years coming up next month, Freak Nation. Thank you guys who've hung around over 2 decades for us. It's a big show. Davi Millsaps, former 250, 450, badass Supercross pilot, 250 champion. One of the top guns back in the day. I say back in the day, retired 4 years ago, Crasher.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Right? Yeah. We caught up with him at the Supercross finale in Salt Lake. You don't want to miss this interview. I'm going to be blunt about it. He spent 3 years on a couch and a number of those times contemplated suicide due to a concussion, severe concussion that he got in one track during a Supercross race. Davi Millsaps, yeah, that guy, a big-time Supercross star. He joins us here in the Freak Nation. And I'm going to make a joke about this. Some guy that probably has had more concussions than an NFL linebacker, John Force. He joins us in the second hour. Sorry, I had to say that. Listen.
That's not right.
It's a bit stretching it. Yeah,
this is our Blimpies guy. Come on.
Okay, then an NFL tight end. I won't say linebacker. Okay, is that better? John Force. He just celebrated a big time birthday and got himself a big win last weekend in Charlotte, 4 Wide Nationals. He'll be joining us here in the Freak Nation.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, hello.
Before you say anything else, because I don't want this to leave my head.
Got it.
Speaking of big timers, legends in motorsports, and their elder age, shall we say, and Charlotte. You were saying all of that about John Force, and immediately it came to mind a picture that was posted either yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. Kyle Petty and Richard Petty. Kyle was so happy. They just finished yesterday. They finished their Kyle Petty charity ride.
Right.
This is the first time ever that Richard Petty has done the entire ride with Kyle. And he said, look at my dad, 86 years old, did the entire ride with us and just sitting at the Grand Canyon, smiling, having the time of his life. I had to bring that up because you bring up legends and age and it's like, they're still going. The John Forces, the Mario Andretti's, the Richard Petty's. It's like, oh, these are the people, these are the names why we love our show so much. It's those people who laid the groundwork for motorsports and just the status that it has. I love them.
So you're telling me I should go out and buy another bike, huh?
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell the Ohio Department of Highways to fix some of those Grand Canyon potholes and I'll go buy another bike.
Yeah, what's up with the Midwest winter this year? That's all I see on my timeline every once in a while. Like once somebody starts complaining about Indiana potholes, it's like it never ends. And last week was a big one. So clearly Indiana, Ohio, what's going on with y'all?
Yeah, let me grab the steering wheel, Freak Nation. Bring this thing back on the track. We got it. You might be watching us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live. Thank you guys for watching us. And even you guys listening to us the old-fashioned way in one of our many affiliates across the country, Sirius XM, and of course, online. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. So much to talk about. Formula One. Was it a flop or was it fantastic in Miami? Certainly by the names of the folks that I saw on Twitter, the pictures that I saw. Listen, if...
wait. Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Just saying.
Statman, when you have an English guy who does a grid walk come over to America and he starts talking to black people, he probably should know who the hell they actually are, right?
He's tall. He had fluffy hair.
It wasn't pretty. I was working on something on my computer, and I could hear it in the background. And I turned around and had to stop. And what got me was he confused Patrick Mahomes for a basketball player from Duke.
Paulo, yeah.
Okay, that's a bit much. And then he just says, "Who are you?" And at the end of it, he walks away and says, "Whatever," and keeps going.
At least he was honest. I'll give you that. At least he was honest with that. Well, whatever. Who are you? Yeah. Okay, we'll get it right next time, Skipjack. All right, Freak Nation. We're going to resume with some affiliates, get into some Crash Gladys spit news and notes, because we did have some results this weekend. And then we'll get back into more Formula One and NASCAR. Too tough to tame, baby.
Speed Freaks, we promise to suck less. Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. The Freaks.
Bringing in another round of affiliates, Freak Nation. Thank you for being a part of Speed Freaks and the Lucas Oil Studios. Statman, Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent, Richard C. Suave. We're all here. Plenty of Formula One to discuss. NASCAR, too tough to tame. Davi Millsaps joining us here in the Freak Nation. John Force. This segment brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. Do yourself a favor, Freak Nation. Go to GeneralTire.com and find the tire for your righteous ride. I don't care what you got in the garage, man. Sports car, sedan, minivan, a big, fat, four-wheel drive F-250. Put some General Tires on that bad boy. Go to GeneralTire.com. Crasher?
All right, got to say this. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Happy Hot Mama's Day to every mom out there. No matter how you got the role, you are loved and understood by the Moms Club and far, far beyond. Okay, arguably, though, proudest on the Day of Mom would be Sophie Kumpen. She is a world karting champ and also known as Mama Verstappen. How about Deborah Logano, Joey's mom, Darla Anderson, Supercross winner Jason Anderson's mom? Those three, just to name a few in the racing world these days. All right, let's start with Supercross as the season came to a dramatically fun ending in Salt Lake City this weekend. First of all, the crowd, they came to play. Rice-Eccles Stadium was going off. All right, in the 250 East-West Showdown, your East champ, Jet Lawrence, was out before most of the day started as he twisted his ankle in the first morning practice. By race time and after the gate dropped, it was Jet's brother Hunter versus Christian Craig versus Hungry Rider Nate Thrasher versus hometown hero Pierce Brown. It was a great race. After a few laps of challenging, though, Nate Thrasher turned on his DRS. See what I did there? And he proclaimed, obviously, that this was going to be his race. Nate, with his first win on the season, followed by Lawrence and Brown on the box, and with enough points, Christian Craig was crowned the 250 West champ. There was clearly a darling of the 450 race, and that was Malcolm Stewart. The crowd was electric for him, so when points were on the line and Justin Barcia took advantage in a turn and, quote, accidentally offed Malcolm, let's just say Barcia never lived that down the rest of the race. The race was led almost whole shot to flag by Jason Anderson, with second to the young Chase Sexton and third to Barcia, though Barcia received nothing but boos from the crowd in his post-race interview. All right, I don't have much time to go on here, so we're going to talk a ton about Formula One in Miami, where, okay, this is true. I saw this picture. A plain purple Mercedes ball cap will cost you $120. A hat and a safety car will apparently cost Lewis Hamilton any strategy advantage yet again. The winner, in the end, Max Verstappen. We're going to talk loads about this coming.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming June 3rd through the 5th. The party starts Thursday with the NASCAR Fan Fest and Hauler Parade at Ballpark Village. Cup practice and truck qualifying on Friday, Cup qualifying and the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. This is the first time in a lifetime to see the NASCAR Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go to worldwidetechnologyraceway.com to get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at generaltire.com.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Thank you, Lucas Oil, for being a part of this, man. 22 years, coming up June 25th, Lucas Oil Studios. Go to lucasoil.com to find the right product to keep your rides on the road. Plenty of Lucas Oil product used in a number of Supercross pits this weekend, including Benny Bloss and Team Tedder. Thank you guys for hosting a Crash and yours truly out there for a day. It was badass. Go to lucasoil.com. That's lucasoil.com. Let's hear what happened down in Miami. Statman's got a scat coming up in moments. Don't want to go too deep into his scat, but at the same time, Crasher and I were on a plane. Catching a plane, a late plane from Salt Lake City to Phoenix, and pulled up Hulu on my phone. And I think I was 4 or 5 laps into the Formula One race. Can I be honest with you guys? I looked up in the corner of the screen of my phone. I thought, there's not a yellow. There's not a full course car. These cars look like they were on warm-up laps. Stat?
They didn't look fast?
They just didn't look like the Formula One fast that I'm used to seeing on certain courses. Was that just me on a bad connection, Stat Man?
No, I think it was the racetrack. And I didn't like the racetrack at all. At all. There were some places, they had no rhythm to the track. There were some places, if you made a mistake, you'd end up in 7 pieces across 4 counties. So it was,
and in the ocean.
Yeah, and well, they were so far from the ocean they had to paint it on a parking lot. So wow. I mean, I don't want to go into my scat right now.
Right.
But it was a weird track, and the drivers thankfully had enough discipline to pull it back a notch or two in order to make the thing workable. So yeah, thankfully there were Formula One drivers and not stock car drivers who would have still gone at Daytona speeds through some of the chicanes and would have ended up in those 4 counties.
How do you really feel?
Richie,
it was, excuse me, Kitty. It was a dull race.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of places to pass. It went back. In fact, some of the announcers talked about it, that some of the strategy is going to have to be for tire choice and pit stops, that there wasn't a lot of on-track passing.
Okay, hold on real quick before you go to Richie, because I was trying to follow it on Twitter on the airplane today. You talked about strategy, Statman. Was Lewis Hamilton screwed out of his strategy as he claims he was? And was Charles Leclerc also screwed out of his strategy because of wrong tire choice to begin the race?
Well, Leclerc maybe, but Hamilton, because he's having troubles this year, starting to whine a little bit, and it's unbecoming. And they don't know how to handle him because he drives tires to the cord sometime. And so when they have to make decisions, they haven't had that experience. So he's having trouble. And it's strange that George Russell, his teammate with the same car, is doing much better with that same car than he is. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I made a call to a friend of mine in Japan who's an aerodynamicist, and I'm hoping that we can have a conversation and find out a little bit about what's going on.
Richie, you being the novice motorsports fan, Formula One fan, how did you take it? Could you get past the pomp and circumstance and watch the racing from a fan perspective versus there's Tom Brady, there's Beckham?
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
Wait a minute, Richie. I want to add one more thing, and I apologize.
Go ahead.
The guy who sung the national anthem knocked it to North Carolina. He sung the heck out of that song, and before it was over, people were standing and giving him a standing ovation. Nice. I don't know who he was, but he sung the heck out of a song that's not easy to sing, and the people were cheering for him through the song. I'm sorry, Richie, but I had to say that.
No, that's totally okay. I'm a new fan, so I will cede my time to you, Statman, anytime you have an opinion on this thing. I have an article pulled up here, if you're watching us on YouTube, from Sports Illustrated, and it's talking about how some drivers reacted to the track in general, and Carlos Sainz, Esteban Ocon, a couple others were talking about how the track was unsafe. It's hard to see here on the YouTube stream, but 51G impact into the wall in one of these turns for a corner that, for the most part, you weren't going very fast around some of these corners because they were kind of tight. So a lot of the drivers were saying, Carlos Sainz in the driver's meeting was like, listen, this is unsafe. We need to be better safety-wise here. And then you had drivers after the race as well. George Russell and a couple others were talking about how it needs to be repaved. George Russell was saying how he had trouble going down pit lane at times, and he's saying it was kind of felt like a tarmac. And this is what happens. Yeah, because they were basically racing outside in a parking lot, more or less, just outside of the Miami Dolphins stadium. And so I can kind of see where they're coming from. And you kind of saw it during the race, too, when you have a surface like that. And I wonder if we're going to see the same thing in Las Vegas next year, too, which is you're just not going to see any passing because the racing surface just doesn't allow for, and this is what George Russell was saying, how it doesn't allow for cars to go side by side. You're only basically working on one lane at a time. And so that's why, as a race, to watch it, as a race, it was boring as heck to watch because drivers couldn't go too wide. And for a series who prior to the season was all about, oh, listen, all these changes to the cars you're going to make, it's going to be more racy. It's going to be closer together. Cool. Still no passing at all day long. And it's kind of frustrating as a fan because I feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life today watching that race after there was so much hype around it and crashed. You know, we were talking before the show. We're not going to know the ratings until tomorrow. The race was on Big Daddy ABC. So it was on prime television over the air, and I'm kind of curious to see what the ratings will be. I have a feeling it knocked it out of the park compared to some of the other sporting events we're seeing. Again, the Stanley Cup playoffs are barely getting 1 million people to watch, and I have a feeling that this Formula One race, as popular as it was, the race wasn't good, but the ratings are going to knock it out of the park tomorrow. It's going to be one of the most watched sporting events.
Well, now I'm going to want to look at the ratings to see, okay, the beginning of the race and the grid walk and everything, I bet that was high ratings. But then do they fall off? Do the ratings fall off because of how boring the on-track product really was.
No, because people don't know that it was boring. That all the new fans who are just coming on board don't know that this is a dull race. They're excited about, you know, fast cars and shiny cars and names that they've seen on television and so forth. You know, people that are cheering for Lewis are cheering for Lewis. The same people that embarrass Martin Brundle in the grid walk are, you know, there to cheer for the people that they know, you know, and the stars that they know. So they don't know that it was a bad race. It's people like us who say that they've had better, but it's a street race. But it's just sad that Long Beach can figure out how to get a decent race and Formula One can't.
Well, we don't need a fatality or a serious accident to make changes, but I'll give them this, that again, they're trying something new, and they're going to hear this uproar. They're going to see it themselves and figure out, if we're going back to Miami, we got to find a better race areas for passing.
They said that, Kenny,
right
after the race, while they were, because it took like 15 minutes to get from the finish line to where the victories the celebrations. They had to put them in golf carts and drive them over to a different part of the. Yeah, it was, the whole thing was pure American. It was so. It was so.
Wait a minute, though. None of the road courses or street circuits in America in current series do that.
Easy, Patriot.
When they passed out the trophies on the victory stand, they had a guy give it to somebody else who then gave it to the driver because everybody had to have their piece because they were part of this sponsorship and they were part of that sponsorship. It was pure American. And Richie mentioned it was outside Hard Rock Stadium. So they had to go with something that had Hard Rock in the background, and that's where the victory celebration was. And Dan Marino was there to pass out stuff. I mean, it was crazy. It was.
So you're telling me, Statman, at victory celebration that they had to taste barbecue and shower in Budweiser? If it was that American.
Yeah, well, they didn't go that far. They didn't go that far. But yeah, they had to put a guy who was barely able to breathe because it was such a hot day and the 2 hours of racing, and to put him in a golf cart and drive him over to the victory circle.
Well, Statman, look at the history of Long Beach. I can remember seeing my first Long Beach Grand Prix in '91. I think it was in person. In person. And I mean, hell, I was more interested in the women in the party at the time, so I didn't see a whole hell of a lot of racing. But I look at Long Beach Grand Prix as improving over the years.
Oh, without question.
But trust me, I hate to be devil's advocate and give any kind of positivity to Formula One. That's been the most difficult thing for me the last couple of years, given they took a big dump on my Wheaties in Indianapolis. But
many years ago, that was 2004, and you're still carrying that grudge.
Anyway, I want to get into that. But hey, at least we have Austin, and you're right, Richie, man. What's going to happen with? Let's hope that they've learned from what we saw in Miami
before Vegas.
Because this is Vegas. I mean, Miami's and South Beach, that's significant, but this is Vegas.
You never know. Long Beach looked more like Miami than Miami did. You never know that you were.
Don't give away your scats, Dad. Come on,
just get to it, Kenny.
Dang, man, I want to get to your scat. All right, more Formula One conversation, and when NASCAR Cup drivers call each other morons, hell yes,
morons.
We're going to talk about it. That's next.
This won't be a popular opinion, but it's mine anyway. My first impression of the Miami Grand Prix and the track layout wasn't great. It's hard to hide Miami and the beauty of its international city, but this track layout did a wonderful job of it. Art Deco styling defines Miami, but it was ignored in this track. There's nothing that says Miami that I saw. Several NASCAR drivers have said that racing at Bristol is like flying fighter jets in a gymnasium. The Miami Grand Prix is like flying fighter jets in a crypto dumpster filled with discarded Red Bull. Doesn't appear to be any rhythm between the bob and weave turns and curves, and setting up beside one of the planet's great oceans only to paint a marina on a parking lot, that left a little to be desired as well. Saw a headline somewhere this week as I bumped around the net, said America might find it difficult to find a place for 3 Grand Prix in one season. Laying out a street race is tough, but looking at what happened in Miami, that might be true. Peace.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Thank you, General Tire, for making this thing possible, Freak Nation. Can't say it enough, man. We couldn't do it without our fine friends at General Tire. Go to GeneralTire.com. It's GeneralTire.com to find the tire for your ride. Summer's coming. Make sure you have your proper tires for all your travel around the United States of America. Go to GeneralTire.com. It's GeneralTire.com. Mentioned that I was on an airplane today. Didn't see a whole lot of racing. I saw a whole hell of a lot of just fantastic. Statman, I just wanted, all I wanted to hear last night, Salt Lake City, full house with all the pomp and circumstance of fire. I wish I had the video to drop it, but all I wanted to hear was Mike LaRocco. That's all I wanted to hear, man.
Well, hold on a second, though. We were back in the pits, the Team Tedder Racing pits,
Right.
Because we were wrapping up. We had just wrapped up an interview with Davi Millsaps, and the former 250 champion, and now he's a trainer for several riders. And then the internet took a crap on us. So we had to wait. Yeah. I think it was over 30 minutes. Anyway, as we're waiting for this interview to actually upload, all of a sudden the opening ceremonies go off and we hear all these fireworks behind us. We're like, are you kidding me? We aren't getting any of the pomp and circumstance that Supercross is known for because we're waiting on internet. It was so frustrating.
So there was nobody in a white Eldorado convertible with flames and steer horns?
No, not at all. But anyway,
nobody can replicate that.
Gosh, Stat, you've been to plenty of Supercross races. Richie, I know you haven't been to one, you happy bastard. We got to get you there. But gosh, these are bikes that are, again, almost 250 pounds, but they whip it around. I sound like a guy that just saw his first Supercross race. No.
Well, it's been a while thanks to COVID.
They whip these bikes around like they're broomsticks, man. And it's just so, this Salt Lake City Supercross finale was so tight, it reminded you of an arena cross track. It was a small floor.
Wow.
I don't know if the guys got out of second gear.
Wow. The first arena cross thing I saw was like, you mean they're going to race in this little space?
Yeah.
It was wild. It was like a rodeo room, you know? I mean, it was crazy.
All right, so the NASCAR race went off too tough to tame, baby, in Darlington. Richard Petty was in the booth. It's a highlight. But when drivers call each other morons, and I didn't see the prior hit between Logano and Byron, because according to Joey Logano, what happened between him and William Byron in that last lap was retaliation for something William Byron did to Joey Logano. Regardless, when a driver calls another driver a moron, you got to play that audio, right? And if you're watching it on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook Live, we're crediting our good friends at Fox Sports 1 for this video and audio.
Byron leading right there at the end, and we just heard from Joey, and it sounded almost like it was a retaliation thing. Did you guys have something happen before that?
No, I mean, we were really close off of 2, and I think it spooked him and got him tight, and he was right against the wall, and I got the lead. And he's just an idiot. I mean, he does this stuff all the time. I've seen it with other guys. And, I mean, he drove in there 10 mile an hour too fast. And with these next-gen cars, you know, he slammed me so hard it knocked the whole right side off the car and no way to make the corner. So, yeah, he's just a moron. He can't win a race, so he does it that way. So, I don't know. We'll, yeah. It was close racing on the restart. We were faster than him. Obviously, at the end, right rear started to go away, and yeah, he didn't even make it a contest.
Gosh.
What were they doing to Logano's car in that clip? They're like trying to pull something out.
No, he had 2 flat tires, and they had to change the tires so he could drive to victory lane.
Instead of getting a golf cart ride there?
Yeah, right. If he'd have been an F1, that'd have been the ignominy. What is that? Whatever that word is.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow.
That's my instead of Indy Bonics, that's my Columbus Bonics.
Dang.
Yeah, well, no, it was you see him look over his shoulder at one point to see if anybody was coming while he was throwing these things out there.
There's
He's an idiot.
Not safe for work video that's out there too with William Byron talking to the legend Jeff Gordon. He dropped, I think, an F-bomb and an S-bomb, giving his critique of Joey Logano. Again, we talk about this. Listen, you're driving a race car for 3 or 4 hours. It's not like you're going to feel like you're brewing some tea and putting your feet up on the. It's like I'd hop out of the car and just start punching people. Just if I'm happy, I couldn't imagine sitting in a car for 4 hours and then a beautiful woman comes up to you and talks about a dude railing you into the wall. Yeah, I love that guy, man. Exchange Christmas cards. It's like
that is true. At least in the stick and ball sports, they get 15 minutes to calm down. You know. But there they drive. They get at 3 or 4 minutes for a cool down lap, and then they pull into the pits, and somebody sticks a camera, a microphone, and some lights and a video screen. Hey, what do you think about Joey Logano knocking you into the wall? And it's just.
What do you think? I think.
Well, I'll tell you.
Byron leading right there at the end, and we just heard from Joey, and it sounded almost like it was a retaliation thing. Did you guys have something happen before that?
No, I mean, we were really close off of 2, and I think it spooked him and got him tight, and he was right against the wall, and I got the lead. And he's just an idiot. I mean.
There you go.
That's not the first time they've said that about sliced bread either.
Yeah.
Generally, they were a little older than Byron when they put that out there.
But there are 3.5, 4 hours of road rage. We go 3 minutes or 30 seconds and we want to start punting people.
Yeah. Well, in the NFL, they go 3.5 hours of hitting each other, and they're ready to. But they get 15 minutes. Maybe that's what they ought to do with NASCAR. Give them 15 minutes to calm down.
This is such a Geico commercial. It's crazy. 15 minutes can save you.
Can you imagine if Joey Logano did the same thing during the NASCAR playoffs? William Byron's got 2 wins. He's already in the playoffs, so that pretty much did not matter to him whatsoever. I'm pretty sure he's damn near the top of the point standings at the moment, too. But if it was in the playoffs, there would have been some hands thrown. 100%. We had Sarah said the same thing here. He says she thought Joey and William were going to fight. If this was a NASCAR playoffs, there would be hands thrown, and I am here for it. But because there was the regular season, just like, oh, he's a douche.
Now, if there'd been hands thrown, if it had been at Martinsville or Bristol, where there's a lot of tight bumping around, at least at Darlington, they're not banging around like they do at some of the short track races.
Statman, Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent. Coming up next, Davi Millsaps, retired from Supercross competition recently. You don't want to miss this interview. He has mad props for James Bubba Stewart, and he talks about a concussion that almost took his life. It's a significant conversation with a dominant rider in Supercross. That's next. Freak Nation.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming June 3rd through the 5th. The party starts Thursday with the NASCAR Fan Fest and Hauler Parade at Ballpark Village. Cup practice and truck qualifying on Friday, Cup qualifying and the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. This is the first time in a lifetime to see the NASCAR Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go to worldwidetechnologyraceway.com to get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
It's more than just a slogan. General Tire delivers. General Tire's Grabber X3 all-season mud-terrain tire offers aggressive styling, engineered for durability, with innovative performance features ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressively styling with SpeedFreaks since 2001.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
I got to tell you, Freak Nation, Lucas Oil Studios, we've got about 35 minutes with Davi Millsaps, former Supercross badass, a 250 champion, one of the bigger names in Supercross back in the day, retired several years ago, now a trainer for a number of riders. 35 minutes that we're going to put up on YouTube this week, but here's a slice of it. We talk about concussions, possible suicide, and James Stewart, the greatness that was James Stewart on the track. Davi Millsaps with the Freaks.
Thought I was going to be obviously gigantic when I retired, just because my dad's big. I mean, my dad was, when I was amateurs, he was 6'1", 280, and he's going to get mad that I said that because he argues that he wasn't my dad. I got pictures. You were for sure 280, and he might have even been bigger. They called him Big Dave for a reason. Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's just I stayed somewhat skinny, thank God, and now that I'm somewhat training these guys, I can't be the trainer walking around the pits with the belly. You know, if I had one of those, I wouldn't want them. Good point. No disrespect to anyone out there that has one. There's probably fantastic trainers that have bellies, but I can't do it to myself.
It's okay. You can disrespect. It's like coaches. It's like trainers that walk around and they're smoking a heater and they're getting Jimmy Jack over there on the treadmill. No, settle down, Skippy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes, and I mean, I drink, but I haven't drank all that much. I've been training for an Ironman half Ironman, should I say. So I'm trying to get back into doing that stuff. And so drinking has been pushed off to the side, unfortunately, because I do like to have my social drinks with, my family and whatnot. But other than that, I'm just trying to stay in shape so I can keep up with these guys.
So hold on. What was the inspiration to train for a half Ironman? I mean, that is no joke.
My bucket list is to do a full. Like, I eventually want to do a full. And it's been a dream of mine for a long time. Why, I don't know, because it's very painful for me to run because I can't run. But it's just one of those things where you start as being one of the most physically demanding sports in the world. You start to look at other sports as like, what is more physically demanding? Like, in my mind, I look at an Ironman as like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And so it's not.
And there are some people that do 10 of them.
Yeah, like the run, the swim and the bike. Like I can live with that, but the 26-mile run, that's not okay. And for me to go into, I'm like, okay, like if I can accomplish that, like that's a bucket list check mark, and then I'm good to go. Like, and then I have Leadville 100, and Leadville 100 I did the 50, and the 100 was really inspired from Ryan Fedora, who passed away in January. He's been my best friend for, my best friend for 17 years, best man at my wedding, so like when he passed, obviously it hit hard. And one of the biggest things he wanted to do was Leadville 100, and he never got the chance. So like, there's a lot of guys like Will Hahn and Bogle and some of the guys that want to do it for him, and that's fantastic, but I want to do it for him as well.
But yeah, to be able to keep up with these guys, like you said, I still don't understand how mainstream sports, or at least the talking heads about mainstream sports, don't give Supercross and motocross their due. Because you're right, it is the most physically demanding sport out there.
We go between soccer.
And maybe cycling. And that's, but come on.
They think that all we do is twist the throttle. They don't ever look at what goes on in day-to-day life. If they come out here and twist the throttle, anyone can ride a dirt bike. Let's face it, anyone can ride a dirt bike. But no one can do what we do out here, or what these guys do out here. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to trying to tell people like, hey, like we ride dirt bikes. Like, oh, all you do is twist throttle. You don't do anything. Like, no, like there's way more to it than that. Like, wake up every morning, like you eat, live, and breathe dirt bikes, and then you have cycling for cross training, and you have the gym, and you have all this stuff, and your diet is super gnarly too. So it's never ending, and people don't see that part of things. So
IndyCar drivers, one of their training things is they've got this weight that helps them to get trained for G-forces in the turns. What's something Supercross wise that's really wicked out there, but it helps them on the track?
Well, we don't have a whole lot of G's like the Indy cars, but
arm pump.
Arm pump is massive, and that comes with endurance. Mm-hmm. The more you ride, the stronger you get. The more you push your limits in practice, obviously, the more you can push it out here at the races. Mm-hmm. But building your strength and your endurance, is it's a hard mixture to get because it's you build too much strength. Now you're going to create arm pump. You're going to create more pump because obviously more muscle, more fatigue. And then you also have to look at you need the strength for the dirt bikes. But then it's like, okay, well, dirt bikes weigh 230 pounds. Like you're lifting that every day, no matter what you want to, how you want to look at it. You're riding it, you're still lifting it. And there's so many things and so many variables that go into it. And for me, I start look at like what I really did. And reaction time is massive because you get out the gate fast, then you can ride up there in the front a lot easier than you can come from the back. And now with how fast everyone's going, you're not coming from the back. Most like 9 out of 10 times you're not coming from the back. So if you can have a fast reaction time, which I just started working on with Benny because he just came back.
Right.
So because his reaction time's pretty bad right now, and I love him, but it's bad. Let's face it. He gets dead last starts. It's fantastic. So
he's working his ass off to get to the field.
Yeah. So
that's real tough, Davey, working with a guy that's dead last. Come on, Crash can help him out.
Oh my God.
Davey Millsaps gets you from last to second to last.
Yeah, I mean, he went from dead last to I think he got 12th or something like that, 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
But I mean, for him, like he's only ridden on a Supercross track, I think 8 times since December. Like that's all he's been on it. So for him, he's just getting his feet wet, learning how to race again before he goes into the outdoor season. But yeah, like back to your question, for dirt bikes, it's not just, the one thing like in the G-forces, we don't have that. It's just need a lot of seat time. It's everything.
So, okay, going back into the fitness with it, I mean, talk about that reaction time. That's a big thing when it comes into pit stops with NASCAR and IndyCar. It's a big thing when it comes to getting off the line and drag racing. So equate that then to Supercross because, the gate drops. As it's dropping, I mean, do you look for it to be at a certain place before you throttle down?
Well, I look for it to flinch.
Just flinch?
Just flinch.
Interesting.
So as soon as it flinches, you go. Because by the time your reaction time goes, the gate's already down. So as soon as you see it flinch, it's already hit the ground and you're gone. But it's not just the start, though, that we need reaction time. It's everybody's out there. All the racers are against you, and you have to move. You have to see it. All the ruts coming at you, the whoops coming at you, the jumps coming at you. Your bike can react different ways. Like you have to have split-second reactions to everything on the track, and it's not just the starting gate. I mean, obviously, that helps, obviously. Well, 20 minutes of Supercross.
You're right.
Obviously, starts help because that reaction time can help you everywhere out there. But I mean, if you have a bad reaction time, now you have to even think twice as much because now you're dealing with the guys in the way back who you shouldn't be back there with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I shouldn't be back there, or Benny shouldn't be back there with, should I say.
So when you talk about reaction time training, it's not just the gate. It's how do you teach him to be better with a rut in the middle of a turn?
Well, thank God he's good in turns. Like he's good in turns, and that's a natural ability for him. A lot of people don't have that. It's the whole saying is, jump for show, corner for dough. And that's been a saying around for a long time. And corners is something that a bike setup helps tremendously with, and your body position helps, But some people nowadays are taking the European style, which I think, Kenny brought here and Marvin brought here, where they're keeping their legs on the pegs. And see, I was never able to do that. Like some outdoor tracks, if I stand up, my feet are on the pegs, obviously. But
it looks foreign to me.
It's very foreign. They do that a lot overseas, and now they're starting to bring it here, where Tomac has pretty much mastered that along with Kenny, with his feet on the pegs. And I never ever got the chance to really try it that much because as it started to come in, I was like teaching an old dog a new trick. It's not going to happen. And for me, it just didn't make sense. It was odd. Benny does it sometimes, and it's fine. But he's way faster when he puts his leg out. Kenny can do it just as fast with or without. So can Tomac. But for me, it's the reaction time in the middle of the corner, it's not really reaction for that. It's just the whole flow in the corner, where your entry is, like where you're giving it gas, where your body position is, where are you looking? Because if you're looking straight down, you're not going anywhere. You always have to look at where you want to go. And that's a big one as well. So sometimes you got to bring it back to basics to get really far.
So you're out here winning a 250 light champion back in the day, right?
Yeah.
They were called lights back in the day. Did you ever anticipate you'd be coaching one of these happy bastards 15 years later?
I mean, I always wanted to do something like that just because the whole time growing up, I always had guys ride with me since the time I was little, like always come ride with me. If they needed help, like I'd help them. It was just, I always wanted to help people get better in this sport, because the more people that are better in this sport, the more it's going to grow. And this sport was able to give me everything that I have. And obviously I worked for it, but it still was there. So for me to give back to kids that can't do good, it's one of those things that, why wouldn't I? And especially because I have the knowledge to be able to do it, why not? And I enjoy it now. I sat on the couch for 3.5 years with my head injury. And then, now I'm back out here doing this, and it gives me purpose again. It gives me something like it gives me routine. It gives me something to focus on. And because my head injury really did me into the point to where I was spiraling like weird ways, and I couldn't help it. I didn't know what was going on. But now the post-concussion symptoms and depression and all that bullcrap, it sucks, honestly, but it's real. And this gives me something to look forward to and do every day that I'm enjoying it again. So
that's one thing that caught me off guard is when we've had you on the show or we've seen you in interviews prior to the concussion.
Yeah.
This is more you than what I'm used to. But then you hear 3 years, your ass is on the couch because of those issues. You think, holy smokes.
Yeah.
But depression, concussion issues, brain issues, that shit's real, bro.
Dude,
it's real.
No, it's beyond real. And I've told this story before, and you guys have done interviews with me. Like I've always been like the happy-go-lucky, like I just upbeat and stuff like that. And it got to the point to where like the suicidal thoughts were gnarly for me. And that's not something that I don't want to hide it, because people go through it. But for me, it was more so like, okay, like how do I stop this? Because I didn't obviously want those. So I'm like, how do I fix it? And I would do everything I was trying to do to get rid of it. I wasn't going to let it, conquer me. So that's kind of where I started to go in with my health and started looking way into depth with my health and gut to brain health and stuff like that. So where and then I started changing my life. Then it started to go away. And then I got out of my depression, got out of all that stuff. And then I was able to come do this stuff. And now I'm way better now than I have been in 4.5 years. And it's cool.
You can write a book about all that.
But what's interesting about depression is in some form or fashion, we all suffer from it.
Yes.
And you hear people talk about, well, you have children and you have a wife, you have all this money and cars. And unless you go through it, you don't understand that none of that matters, man. Looking at your son and daughter and you're depressed and you want to kill yourself. What? It happens. I mean,
it's life. And for some people, for a lot of people, it's life. And it's a hard thing to overcome. And for me, it was looking at my kids and my wife is kind of like, okay, like I got to fix this. I want to walk down the aisle with my daughter when she gets married. I want to be there for my son. I want to do this stuff with my wife. Like there's so many things that at some point in some parts of my day, like I was not depressed. I wasn't suicidal, stuff like that. So I could click those times and use them to like, okay, like let's fix this. And that's when I would. And I'd just do my research to try to figure it out what was going on. And that's when I started finding all this stuff that I needed to at least try.
We'll end it with this, David. It's funny when we ask the younger riders, I say younger guys in their mid-20s, we always drop in these three comparisons. We go James Stewart, Carmichael, and McGrath. And again, Carmichael and McGrath just bombed to us. But hearing the kids nowadays really revere James Stewart and his riding style, all wins, champions aside, just that style. It's funny to hear these younger kids talk about that.
He's the only one that he brought style into the sport.
Yes.
And he's 3 years older than me. And I'm from Florida, so I grew up with James. Like I was just having, I had a 30-minute conversation with Big James this morning.
Oh,
we
nice.
were talking about my dad and how he's like, your dad and me were like this. And I'm like, sure. And I mean, I love the Stewart family. I always have.
Yeah.
And I also hated James for what he was doing. You know, who the wants to Bubba scrub like that in their right mind? And then I started thinking like, okay, he's 5'5", so 5'5" or 5'6", like probably way easier, you know, and he has a size 8 or 9 boot, probably way easier. You don't catch your feet everywhere, you know, but you have to admire James's riding style, even though he was balls to the wall, like he never cared. But it was the fact of how much passion that you could see how he, you know, what he had in the sport. You know, when every minute that he was riding, you know, he always put passion into it. And that was something that you can never take away from him. So from Bubba Scrubs to, you know, his stupid rhythms and you know, across the board, like I was talking to Big James Storm, like watching him. I remember watching him when he was on PW, and he wasn't human on a PW. He really wasn't human on PW. He was God on a PW. As he got older, obviously he got more human. But the stupidity never changed. He was still that guy that you're like, if anyone's gonna do this, James. You know, like, oh, what's James gonna do now? You know, so and like I said, I love James to death, but like, yeah, you admire him, but you got to hate him at the same time for everything. Like as a racer. Now as a fan, all day, yes. But as a racer that had to race him, like there was some things that you hated him for.
He brought back WFO. I mean, WFO, he did, didn't he? I mean, WFO for me in the 70s was it.
Yeah.
And it just lost it. And I said, that guy's WFO. What are you talking about, Kenny? What does that mean?
Yeah, he brought it. He brought it back tenfold. Yeah, there was. I mean, you can go on and on about James, you know, but for when he wanted to calm down, he calmed down. When he wanted to go crazy, which was 99% of the time, he went crazy. But again, I go back to just the fact of how fast and how creative he was. You know, he was super, super creative, and his riding style, straight up, was just on edge all day, every day. You know, then you had Carmichael, who was on edge, but I don't think he was purposely on edge. You know, he was accidentally on edge all the time.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined. Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire.
It's Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined with Kenny Sargent,
Crash Gladys,
and Statman. Here's the Freaks.
Freak Nation, coming up, John Force, and you could make a John Force interview a 3 or 4-parter, but I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to make it a 2-parter, Freak Nation. It's going to be a 2-parter with John Force, 16-time funny car champion, John Force. Anytime he rolls in the Freak Nation, you just need to sit and be still, because there will be times when you have no idea what he's talking about, and he'll admit it. Right? Now, where was I going with it? What was the question you asked? It's true.
Lots of things going on in my head.
So that'll be this hour, Freak Nation. Thank you guys for being a part of it, man. Whether you're listening to us on Sirius or many affiliates across the country, watching us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live. Thank you guys for hanging out, man. I'm going to harp on it until, damn it, I stop. 22 years, June 25th, June of this year, 22 years of Speed Freaks. Richard C. Suave, Crasher, Statman, yours truly, Kenny Sargent. Website, speedfreaks.tv. Twitter, Instagram, we're there for you. Suave, you got a little poll out there in regards to the Formula One Grand Prix. What's the status on that Grand Prix there, young man?
I just asked a very simple question, which was about today's Miami Grand Prix. All I said was, how would you grade today's Miami Grand Prix? Did you enjoy it, or was it boring as freak? And like we talked about back in the first hour of the show, 63% calling it boring as freak. I'd like to talk to the 37% and find out who they are. Figure out what were they watching the same race I was?
Well, no, I think that goes back to what Statman was saying. There's so many new fans of Formula One because of Drive to Survive that they're just cheering for personalities and not really caring about the on-track product.
So true. We've got friends that'll text us only when Max Verstappen wins. That's it.
Yes. And yesterday heard that we were out of town at a race, and probably the second that came out of somebody else's mouth to them, they text us, "Oh my gosh, you guys are in Miami?" Like, no, we're in Salt Lake City.
I need to remind the Freak Nation that every weekend you get a chance to win a set of General Tires. Just beat us with your 3 picks, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar. Should we do Formula One for Monaco? God, we have all those. No,
that's the Indy 500.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, maybe we just get 3 shots. We do the Coca-Cola 6000, we do Monte Carlo, and the Indy 500.
But it won't. The Coca-Cola race won't end until the 4th of July. So
Stop it.
It's the Coca-Cola 600 days in a row.
However,
right.
And we've debated on this show. No, we haven't debated. Everybody here agrees. NASCAR should shorten the vast majority of their races. One to not shorten, though, would be the Coca-Cola 600. Keep it as is, even though that has produced a boring product for a while. No, seriously.
600 miles?
It's the only one. It's the only one.
It's like going to the middle of the 4th quarter in a football game, and you still got another half to go. I mean, it's like you can't. That's the even the drivers don't like that. That's too long.
Crasher Statman's drunk as hell.
It's Memorial Day weekend. All a fan wants to do is just wake up, stay in his or her PJs, and or invite friends over for a barbecue, watch Monaco, then watch the taped version of the Little 500 on MAV TV, then watch the Indy 500, then roll it right into the Coca-Cola 600. You don't need anything else that day.
It's the Coca-Cola 600 shots of Cavassier, stat man. Come on, Broham. Let's go. Let me remind you.
I still think it lasts. It's the 600 summer event. You just tune in every once in a while and see how it goes. It goes from the Memorial Day that opens summer to the 4th of July that shows you summer's still going on.
Summer break race.
So is that race.
Well, these are the results for this past Beat the Freak.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
What?
Are you kidding? I missed by 1 point? This was last week.
If you're listening to us, Freak Nation, Crash with 84, Stat with 83, our winner, or lack thereof winner, David, our contestant, 70, and Kenny at 49. I got my ass handed to me. We'll talk more about that. We got to go to break, Freak Nation. I actually got to resume with some affiliates. Statman's all upset, all up in this thing. More freaks coming up. Going to bring in some affiliates to get back to Crash Gladys. Pit news and notes.
Speed Freaks, we promise to suck less. Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
The Freaks.
Freak Nation, thank you guys for hanging out, bringing in another round of affiliates here. Speed Freaks on a Sunday night. Last hour, Supercross veteran badass who retired several years ago, Davi Millsaps, joined us. Plenty of Formula One and NASCAR Darlington conversation. More of that coming up. John Force, a two-parter coming up this hour. But first, Crash Gladys Pit News and Notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. GeneralTire.com is a great website to find the tire for your righteous ride. Summer's coming, man. Make sure you have the right tire for the travels across the country. Go to GeneralTire.com. Crasher?
All right, I didn't get to NASCAR or really some of the meat of Formula One in the last hour news and notes. So let's start with Formula One, Miami, baby, where we did talk about this. A plain purple Mercedes ball cap was going for $120. Yeah, that was one of the pictures we were sent from Miami. Actually, no. That picture was credit to Jenna Fryer of AP. Holy freaking cow. And then, of course, the safety car, what some people are saying on Twitter, costing Lewis Hamilton any of his strategy. Yet again, he's had some safety car issues in several races. F1's debut, though, in Magic City, aside from maybe covering up what Miami should actually look like, the weather was good. Social media-wise, everything looked good, but the on-track product was lackluster. Until the final 10-ish laps. After the safety car pulled off track from the Lando Norris-Pierre Gasly incident, the race was won, though, by a defensive Max Verstappen, who pulled away by almost 4 seconds, though, at the end from Charles Leclerc. NASCAR raced a throwback-themed weekend in Darlington. First in the Xfinity Series, it was very adventurous. Justin Allgaier, though, throwing back to his last win last year, right there at Darlington, to double up year over year. Then in the Cup Series, we've talked about this a little bit. Did Joey Logano play dirty for his first win on the season? Or was that just a racing thing? That debate will never end. Wow, I'm losing music. Everything is quiet. Hey, it's all Supercross. The season is now done. What? Bottom line, though, it was Jason Anderson taking the win last night. And in the 250 East-West shootout, that was Nate Thrasher. What was it that you were saying? I was just trying to think right there, Kenny. We're walking through the concourse.
It's one of the greatest names ever in Supercross.
You heard Nate Thrasher passes Hunter Lawrence. You're like, what's his last name? Of anybody to have a Supercross last name, it's Thrasher.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
General Tire offers a wide variety of options that will stand against whatever life brings your way. Whatever you drive, truck, car, or SUV, General Tire has long-lasting, all-season Ultimax RT43 to the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX. General Tire covers on-road performance, off-road capability, and durability. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. For more information, drive over to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, getting Speed Freaks where we've needed to be since 2001.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming June 3rd through the 5th. The party starts Thursday with a NASCAR Fan Fest and Hauler Parade at Ballpark Village. Cup practice and truck qualifying on Friday, Cup qualifying and the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. This is the first time in a lifetime to see the NASCAR Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go to worldwidetechnologyraceway.com to get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined.
lucasoil.com or follow Lucas Oil on Twitter. Be sure you like their Facebook page. You get some insight to some incredible products to keep your engine happy during these hot summer months. Go to lucasoil.com, the official oil of the Freak Nation. I think Crash is right in this text thread that we have. Richie, you got some snappy video from the grid walks, old grid walk. Look at this. If you're watching
There's a photo.
Watching us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, there's a great photo. I thought about this. What do you think? There's a great photo of Michael Jordan, Beckham, Lewis Hamilton.
David Beckham. Not Odell Beckham.
Yep, David Beckham and Tom Brady, Lewis Hamilton. Did anybody do the math? What's the net worth of those 4 dudes?
Oh, God. And how many championships do all 4 of them have together? I mean, seriously.
Jeez. Statman, whose life would you like? Would you want Michael Jordan's life, Lewis Hamilton, David Beckham, or Tom Brady?
Oh, Michael Jordan. I mean, for crying out loud. Michael Jordan. 6 championships, a billionaire. Come on. Best jump shot in the history of man.
I don't know, man. Well, you talk about Lewis Hamilton. I thought, hell, you'd go with 7-timer Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, well, Lewis is complaining now.
Oh, come on. He's still Lewis, though.
Lewis is whining now. I don't want to.
He's allowed to be. Oh, wait. Michael Jordan had some whining times, too.
Yeah, well.
Tom Brady's had some whining times. David Beckham's had some whiny times. All the greats go through their
That's like be the damn photographer, man.
Yeah, who is the credit on that photo?
Crasher, we're wasting time.
Tom Brady.
It's on his. It's on
That's
his
right.
set.
It's on Tom Brady's cell phone.
All right, Richie, set this up, my friend, for those that are listening to us here in the Freak Nation.
It was truly magical television. Truly the best part of today's Miami Grand Prix was watching Martin Brundle, who's part of the Sky Sports broadcast for Formula One that airs on the United States here on ESPN networks.
FYI, former Formula One driver himself.
Walking around on the grid with all these celebrities, and maybe the best, and it ended up getting Martin Brundle trending on Twitter earlier today, was when he tried to interview who he thought was Patrick Mahomes. However, he was interviewing Paolo Banchero from Duke, and this is what transpired on the grid at the Miami GP earlier today.
This is crazy. I've never been to an F1 race. This is spectacular.
It's amazing to be allowed right in the middle of the competitors just before the race starts.
Yeah, now you can see they locked in. It reminds me of myself. A real focus.
Okay, it's not Patrick. That's why he ignored me in the beginning. But what is your name, sir?
Paolo Banchero.
Right, okay. Well, I thought I was talking to somebody else. So I'm sorry about that.
That is so money.
And that wasn't all either. There is in fact more. We can't play this whole thing because we got to go to break here in just a second. But later on, or earlier on in the grid walk, we ran into some more famous people, such as Venus Williams and Serena Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And Venus was just not having it. Did not know who Martin Brundle was.
I don't know. I don't know if I can stand the rejection, to be honest. I don't know if I can stand the rejection here, but I'll do this for you. Venus, Martin Brundle, Sky, how are you? Really good to see you two on the grid again. Are you cheering for Lewis?
DJ Khaled right there.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Williams sisters. Serena, good to see you. So tell us, what do you think of this?
She just walking.
All the drivers in Miami, so wishing them luck. It's the first time. Hey.
Silence.
Yes.
What's the question?
No, it doesn't really matter. Just good to hear. Nice to talk to you, actually. But
Nice to talk to you.
He goes, oh,
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter. Wow. So he called her Venus and Serena, didn't he?
Well, no, Serena was walking behind her. And
That's
then
what I thought. Okay.
She stopped and started talking to somebody else. That's why he was,
He went back to Venus.
Yeah, then he went back to Venus. Yeah.
And still got ignored.
All right, Richie, set this one up. This is what might be Formula One in Indy, you think? Richard?
I don't know where this is from. There was no context to it. I just saw the video. We're going to play the video on YouTube, but for our radio listeners, you're going to hear another grid walk with Ozzy Osbourne. Here's what you got to do at home. You got to try and play along to a game I'm calling What in the World is Ozzy Osbourne Saying Here? Truly a classic grid walk moment. Take a listen.
Ozzy, Pretty TV, good to see you.
Good to see you here.
Sharon had some good news this week, I hear.
Yeah, I'm currently writing a musical about the life and times of Rasputin, the Mad Monk, and they're allowing it to go on Broadway.
All right, I'll try and think of a question for that answer. Did you bring the dogs with you?
No, they're all
he dropped an S-bomb there too. So
I'll try to think of a question for that answer.
I gotta remember that. I gotta think of a question for that answer. That's one of the great lines.
It's so good. All right, Freak Nation. There's some entertainment from Formula One this weekend in Miami. Coming up next, the one and only John Force, 16-time funny car champion. If there was ever time to sit back, relax, have a beer, and pull out a big fat stogie, a cheap one maybe, it's coming up in about 7 minutes. But first, your stat man scat.
This won't be a popular opinion, but it's mine anyway. My first impression of the Miami Grand Prix and the track layout wasn't great. It's hard to hide Miami and the beauty of its international city, but this track layout did a wonderful job of it. Art Deco styling defines Miami, but it was ignored in this track. There's nothing that says Miami that I saw. Several NASCAR drivers have said that racing at Bristol is like flying fighter jets in a gymnasium. The Miami Grand Prix is like flying fighter jets in a crypto dumpster filled with discarded Red Bull. Doesn't appear to be any rhythm between the bob and weave turns and curbs, and setting up beside one of the planet's great oceans only to paint a marina on a parking lot, that left a little to be desired as well. Saw a headline somewhere this week as I bumped around the net, said America might find it difficult to find a place for 3 Grand Prix in one season. Laying out a street race is tough, but looking at what happened in Miami, that might be true. Peace.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. decades. You're listening to SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio redefined.
Nation, anytime you can catch up with John Force, you give in and you just go. This interview lasted almost an hour. We've cut it down to a two-parter. The full interview will be up on YouTube. John Force just celebrated a birthday, got himself his 155th win at Charlotte in the 4-wide Nationals. 16-time funny car champion John Force here in the Freak Nation. Sit back, try and relax, and follow along with John Force in the Freak Nation.
I got to ask. Somewhere at a racetrack, you told me you two got married. Not you and Stat, you and that beautiful girl. Did that happen?
It did. Yes.
When the hell did that happen? I never got an invitation. I never.
Statman, you were supposed to give it to him.
It's all my fault, John. They gave it to me to give to you, and I forgot.
Oh man! But it freaked me out when you said it, and I walked away. I said, "Wait, he married Crash? No, you misunderstood that." Okay.
Yes,
Hey.
we kept it quiet for many, 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 many years.
John, when we got married, you were 60 years old.
Hey, I brought you something from Texas here.
It's a big ass middle finger.
You know where that joke goes. Sarah's going to get mad. You talk about, I'm a young kid. I got heart. I got Monster Energy. I got everything to make me and coffee when I need it. So what are we going to talk about?
I don't know, John Force. I'm getting kind of tired of calling you 16-timer, John Force. When the hell are we going to make it 17-timer?
Well, I'm trying. So I'm trying to get it done, and I'm working on it. And my race car, Daniel Hood, my boys that run the Blue Def and Peak, Motor Oil, Chevrolet, with all my sponsors on it. Daniel Hood and Tim Fabrizi, we've been fast, but even last year, I was in the hunt. I actually had the points lead for a few rounds last year until I crossed the center line, and because I didn't realize I could lose points. Hell, I don't read the rule books. So in the middle of it, they're doing a great job. And now we got consistency. We ran the speed and ET and won the race, did it all. And even though Robert reminded me, you ran 3:35, he said, a couple years back, I ran 3:39. But that's a Chevrolet Camaro either way, so I'm excited about that.
So John Force, 16-time funny car champion, 73 years old, just celebrated his birthday, 155 wins. You're asked this all the time, John Force, but your biggest accomplishment is what? As a father of some wonderful women that simply take care of this planet. What's the biggest accomplishment for John Force?
Well, my family, my children, my wife, the people that made all this possible. I was at a ball game last night with Noah, watched him play baseball, and I just sat up there. And yet they go out on the weekends. They drive a junior dragster. Him and Jacob, they're 9 and 8 or 10 and 9 or something. Autumn is moving up to Supercomp. Robert, his daughter, and my daughter Adra's daughter. So that is the future of me. Nobody's going to live forever. But see if I can take these lights off. The lights are really bright. But nobody's going to live forever, not even me. But Statman, he might. Okay, but that, and I want to win. But you know what? It is what it is. And my job is to win races. I got the Proc kid, Austin, with Montana brand. And that's really cool to me. Robert with Auto Club, Brittany with Flavor Pack and Monster, and of course me with Peak. But that's what I do to grow my company, to keep it together, to keep everybody's jobs. Social media and PR is becoming huge now. B2B business we're talking things this morning, B2B. I didn't even know what that meant. You know what I mean? Now things are happening. And then in the middle of it, I won a race. Hey, I've been winning races for the last 100 years, every year. And the championship's out there. I am not giving up on it. It's what I dream about in my little world that I live in. I can't even let Robert in that world. He is so caught up with winning. You don't know the way it is. And but he's a good man, and he's president and runs my company. And so good weekend. Now we're heading to Richmond, and I get to be back on your show.
Hold on just a second. The racing
for the wedding.
I know. So sorry. The racing lineage, though, with all the forces, in and out of the family, that's taken care of. That is clearly going to live on for decades, for centuries, to be perfectly honest. Who has the best business sense in your family? I mean, is it Adra? Is it Ashley? Who's the business person that's going to really keep the team and those B2Bs that you are referring to moving healthily?
Yeah, but Adra runs all the money. in the company. Hell, I can't even count. And she's run that from the day she came out of school. We had one desk. She sat on one side, and the phone would ring, and she'd answer, yes, John Force Racing. And they go, is John Force there? Oh, let me check with his secretary to see if he's busy right now and see if I can get him. Hold on. And she'd go, Dad, do you want to talk to him? Who is it? And I'd say, give it to me. Good job, kid. And that's how we lived. This whole thing was smoke and mirrors. And I don't know how I got here, but she was very important. Now Robert runs the company. Daniel, Ashley's husband, runs my race car. Ashley runs my TV production company. You know what I'm saying? And it's all just a big family. Jimmy runs a team. His boy drives one. His other son, Sam Prock, runs, my shops in Indy and comes on the road with us when we need help. So it's just a big family affair. But you look at Barlam. I don't know Tober, but we're getting to be family. You know what I mean? Because that's how I want it to be. And hell, Guido and Kelly called me to tell me they love me because they're just the best people in the world. I got to try to figure out how to get them back. Tony Stewart and Caps ran off with him. Okay, what'd you ask?
I remember you had a small house on the west side, not small. Yeah, right. It was still like 5 bedrooms, but it was on the west side of Indy. This is the mid 90s. And I remember when Guido and there was a guy there named Kevin and Eric Medlin was one of your mechanics. And yes, I remember those guys coming from the very beginning of John Force Racing and having fun with those guys summer times in Indianapolis. And now look at you. It's insane what you say. It's just a family business, but you've grown it and massaged it so well. You make it look easy. I know it wasn't easy.
Hey, at that ranch we had there in Indy that we ended up sold, and we built the shops in Indy. And we got big shops in California and movie theaters out here and museums. And then back there we got chassis paint, engine building programs, and museum back there. But when we had that little ranch, I wish I would have kept it, but I sold it to build the new place. But I remember we had a John Deere tractor came with it. And a guy showed up there and he goes, I see a John Deere tractor, but you don't cut the grass. There's people out there you pay to cut the grass. And he said, you never moved any dirt. And he goes, why do you have that big old tractor? So me and Guido walked over to it, and the big, what's that thing in the front you scoop up dirt with? The bucket. It was full of ice and beer.
Yes.
And I said, we run around this place, we drink beer out of that tractor, and then we just drive it around like we know what we're doing. So smoke and mirrors. They don't need to know all that, but we love what we do. We're heading to Richmond. I got a race car that'll race. We got some new promotions coming. Sarah's killing them with social media, and she's got this young girl that helps her in our marketing team, Hope, and we're going to grow this and PR and all this stuff because the world's crazy what you guys do, where you put us out there in the world that I don't even understand. I'm a dinosaur. And oh man, yesterday on my birthday, I had 10 million phone calls. Okay. And in the middle of it, I'm trying to figure out because it don't tell you who it is. You're just supposed to know. And I had all these people like, I don't have a clue. And so I'd send a message. Thank you. Love you. And then I get a guy call back. Why are you saying you love me? Well, first of all, I just saying I love you. Who are you? I'm Paul from Boston. And I just found your number, how to call you. So you got to be careful what you type into the deal. And then my team, let me give you an example of something. Last week, they sent over a deal. NHRA sent a thing, so we're sending it out to all the drivers and employees. We're starting 30 minutes later tomorrow because of weather coming. And so for the first time, I picked up my phone and I said, THANKYOU. Thank you. And I pushed the little deal. My wife showed me how to do it. Beep. And it went. And then all of it come back. Hey, anybody listening? Somebody's got Force's phone. We're getting responses. So they all started calling me like, who's on the phone? Where's the phone? Let's find it. And can't find Force. And I was there. And then I said, you're all making fun of me, aren't you? Because I don't know how to run this phone. You know what's embarrassing? When you get out of your car and you take your phone and you go like that, and then you realize it ain't a flip-flop. That is really embarrassing.
All right.
The good old days.
John, as the only 2 dinosaurs on the phone call, There you go, John. Me and you, we have that in common. You're a dinosaur, and so am I.
But you look better than me. I've been road hard. I'm beat up and put away. And people are telling me, when are you going to retire? I said, I missed that 10 years ago. And the sponsor said to me, you mean 20 years ago? We had the same conversation. You were going to retire back then. In a couple of years, you're still here. So they won't even write that in my contract. They're all signing me up for another round, though. I'm good.
How does the NHRA go on without that guy?
It doesn't. It won't. I mean, that's gold.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we ain't talked about drag racing and any of that. And you can't turn away from him. He's incredible. John is incredible. He's a force of nature.
This is an interview we did earlier this week. Mm-hmm. And we're still laughing at the same damn jokes.
God. When was his birthday? It was Wednesday, right?
Yes, it was Wednesday, and then we had him for our interview on Thursday.
Right.
That's a Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of. They ought to build a Hall of Fame for him now, and let him just continue on. And said, John, keep going as long as you want.
So his birthday is Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
May the 4th. Yeah.
May the 4th be with you. May the Force be with you. I'm sure they've done a meme of that.
Yeah, no, they've done that. That was done back when the movie first came out, because he was only 10 championships then. Nobody's won more than 4 or 5, and he's got 16 of them now.
We wouldn't be talking to him if he didn't have that personality. Granted, he has 16 championships, but
wait a minute.
Gosh, you don't find a personality like that with double-digit championships.
And access. Somebody with 16 championships, we know people with 5 championships, and they don't want to talk to you. This guy's got 16. Define the sport, and he'll sit and talk to us for an hour.
Statman, we know people with 0 championships who make it difficult to talk to.
Exactly.
So it's all either you're a good person or you're a bizarre person.
All right, Freak Nation.
The nicer they are.
We will be joining John Force again for part 2. You don't want to miss that. It's even better. How does it get better than that? I can't tell you. That's why you need to stick around. The part 2 of John Force 16-timer coming up next.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Engine is one of the most important components of your vehicle. When improperly maintained, you can experience mechanical wear, poor fuel economy, or even a breakdown. Lucas High Performance Motor Oils are proven to lower oil temperatures for longer oil life, reduce metal fatigue, and keep engines clean and free of deposits much longer. They protect against oil foaming, slow oil burning, and raise oil pressure in worn engines. For more information, visit lucasoil.com. Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
General Tire offers a wide variety of options that will stand against whatever life brings your way. Whatever you drive, truck, car, or SUV, General Tire has long-lasting, all-season Ultimax RT43 to the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX. General Tire covers on-road performance, off-road capability, and durability. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. For more information, drive over to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, getting SpeedFreaks where we've needed to be since 2001.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming June 3rd through the 5th. The party starts Thursday with the NASCAR Fan Fest and Hauler Parade at Ballpark Village. Cup practice and truck qualifying on Friday, Cup qualifying and the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. This is the first time in a lifetime to see the NASCAR Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go to worldwidetechnologyraceway.com to get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Freak Nation, we continue on with our interview with John Force. The full interview is up on our YouTube page. Just be sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, and you'll get notices every time we load an interview up there on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching us live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, you see us right now. So, yeah, it's the part 2 of 16-timer John Force celebrating his birthday this week and his 155th funny car win. It's 16-time funny car champion John Force with the Freaks, Lucas Oil Studios.
Oh, John, you mentioned going to a baseball game to watch your grandson play. When you go there, do people know who you are? Do they crowd around you and ask for autographs and want to know about John Force when you're just trying to be a grandfather?
Okay, you want to hear something? I don't even know. The only people I know in Yorba Linda next to my team is the lady at the donut shop and the guy at the laundry. Okay? He's throwing up 25 pairs of pants because my wallet keeps falling out of my back pocket, and I can't figure that out. My daughter's buying me pants, and the zipper is too short. Like, what's wrong with pants? The pockets are so short, your wallet won't go in and disappear. Like, who wears this stuff? All the kids got little zippers, and they all got little wallets. I don't know what's going on here in the world. So my guy is trying to fix my pants for my wallet. I lost it 3 times last week. Set down and just falls out. So they're going to sew. Why did I get on that?
Who knows you?
What was the ballpark. So here I am at the ballpark. My wife says, you got to be at Bryant Ranch by 6 o'clock. And it's already 6:30. I said, I'm going to go there. Sarah's going, can we plug some sponsors here, please? Okay. So here we go. And I go to the ballpark, and I park across the street. I run up to the first diamond. Oh, I'm looking for Noah. I'm looking for Ashley and Danny. I don't see them. And so I ran around to the other diamond, walked around back there, wasn't over there, ran over to the third diamond. Finally, I said, well, they can't all be in the bathroom, even the kid playing ball. But I went and checked the bathroom and the hot dog stand. I couldn't find nobody. You're talking about people that know me. So I've been to these games, right? So, but I don't go in a uniform. And if I take this white hat off, nobody knows me. You know, I mean, I go in the movie theater with this hat on, and somebody put a different color hat on. They go, who are you? John Force. I come in here every week. You know who I am. Well, you don't have your hat on. Okay, good for Pete. But here's the point. I go all the way around the diamond. I go out, get in my car, told my wife, you sent me to the wrong ballpark. And don't do that to me. Walking around up here, it's wearing me out. And she goes, I just talked to Ashley, and she said she's not there, but Danny and his dad is, okay, and Noah. Jacob's not there. I thought, well, maybe I didn't look for Jacob. Maybe I was looking for Ashley. So I go back. I go around the whole ballpark. This ain't a million people. I'm standing there with all these women with moms of baseball, all this stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, where is Noah? And I'm looking on the diamond. I know Noah. I know what he looks like. Can't find him. Went back to the other diamond. Can't find him. And what I'm getting at in this little story is Danny and his dad was in the stands and Noah was on the field. But nobody recognized me. Maybe just out of respect, let him have a day off. I know people there, But it ain't like at the races where they'll run up, oh my God, it's you. They don't care. These are soccer moms or baseball moms and dads. So I went around it, and then Danny's sitting there with his dad. I said, Danny, I walked right here, right in front of you. He goes, I was watching my kid, but I didn't have my white hat on. And I walked right by him, and he didn't even know his driver that just won Charlotte.
Even he didn't know.
Danny, and his dad said, I never saw you. How could you miss me? I walked right here in front of the dugout. But I said, I don't even recognize the soccer moms. He said, first of all, it ain't soccer, it's baseball. Whatever, you know what I mean. And that was my big day yesterday.
So, wow. John, we've at 22 years, we've asked you a lot of questions, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. And I'm waiting for the answer like crazy. When you drive to the ballpark, what music do you listen to on your radio in the car?
Well, I've got a deal that my daughter Brittany taped for me of all my songs, all the Beatles songs, The Long and Winding Road. Of course, I love country, Merle Haggard. That's where I come from. And them guys, I think they're all dead. And Merle Haggard, that's Merle Haggard Jr. But I listen to the dad, the grandpa. But what I'm saying is the Beach Boys, Reva, I love her, but I love Eminem. So I have them all on my little music.
Whoa, wait a minute. You like Eminem? Can you name one Eminem song?
That's staging lane music, Statman. Staging lane music.
Let me tell you something. Oh, you're testing me to see if I'm lying. Okay, Statman. I don't know the name of it, but I know the tune. The drum and bouncing, and Mama, hiding in the closet. Don't think I don't know this shit. Okay, and
lose yourself.
Who da? And the way they do it, I've always liked him. And he gets in a lot of trouble, but no more than Chappelle getting beat up on the stage. Is that something? Thank you, Will Smith, for that little bit of action. He didn't have nothing. He's getting blamed for that too. So
if they had
all he did was defend his wife.
In baseball, they have walk-up music that they play when the batter comes to the plate. So if they did that in drag racing, what would your walk-up music be when you come to the start line?
It'd be okay. Have brain fade here, but I know it. It's come on. I was with him in Vegas with Ashley. Elton John's "I'm Still Standing." Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I don't give nobody. I don't sing. Hey, you want to hear something funny? You don't think I'm a real drag racer? Sarah came out because on the last show we were Joe Costello. We did a show and he brought me out a birthday cake with 3 candles lit. But before she got with the cake, the candle went out. And I grabbed it and I said, look at this cake. And they're all looking at it. 2 candles are burning, one's out. I said, I dropped a cylinder, but I didn't at Charlotte.
Cylinders don't matter on cake.
No, but 1 candle was out. And it put out the fire in one pipe. Anyway, look at your husband up there. He's going, this guy's full of more stuff than a Christmas turkey. But I don't care. I'm having fun in life. Even my wife likes me again. I don't know how that happened. That's something.
Hey, John, there is not a Merle Haggard Jr. Were you thinking about Hank Williams Jr.?
That's what I meant. But I know all their songs. I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I really like? I like the Highwaymen, and Chris Christopherson. People don't even know who he was, but I do. Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, and Johnny Cash. And I got Johnny Cash, Sunday morning coming down. I live by it. Sunday morning, that's the first song I turn on before I go to church.
Wow.
Wow, that's a good list. And so hold on, Brittany made you a playlist.
Oh, yeah, she'll tell you all my music, and it's all about mood. Your song by Elton John, and just all the different songs. The girl Faith, what's her name in country western?
Faith Hill?
Yeah, Faith. Yeah, I got a lot of them. I'm not good with names, but I can hum a tune or two. But I won't.
You know how to when you're in the car and your song comes on, do you start bouncing your head around and listening to it and dancing?
Huh?
When
Yeah.
you're dancing.
I got to be careful. I don't throw my neck out, whiplash in that funny car at 335 miles an hour. I don't mind to say it again.
John Force, who's the fourth highwayman? Do you know his name?
No, the one that fell in the dam, then the guy that goes in outer space, and the very first one that was baubles by my trade. I know they don't try to bull jive a jiver. Okay, baubles by my trade. That's Willie Nelson. No, there's only 3 highwaymen.
Waylon,
Willie, Waylon, Christopherson, and Johnny Cash. There is 4. I knew that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Audience applause.
Yes. We got a lot of things in common, John, and that's one of them. The Highwaymen, Outlaw Country. That's some of the baddest, ballest music in the history of mankind. Dinosaurs.
Oh, it makes you dinosaur. You're making me think of the new Jurassic Park. It's the last one. And you watch the commercial, and that guy who I love that's in the background. Remember with Jaws when they said, we need a bigger boat? Well, now this guy's saying, every time they make one of those dinosaurs, they keep getting bigger. Have you seen that commercial?
I did not.
He says they keep getting bigger. They're trying to make a thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know why I said that. Well, we are totally lost on this interview, and Sarah's over here checking off the box. I'm going to get fired.
Okay, John Force, 16-time funny car champion, just celebrated his 73rd birthday, 155 funny car wins 4 wide nationals in Charlotte. And let me drop this on you, John.
Paparazzi chased these girls everywhere, but I protected them, their mother. They said it looked like a beauty pageant. And we stood outside all day to watch these guys in their kilts. It looked like the Wizard of Oz. They were just going back and forth. It was awesome. And then, just like they said, at 5:15, the Queen left the building, drove off in a Ford Focus. Drove right off, didn't she?
Did he have his boots on?
Actually, I think he did. In a pink scarf that he bought at one of the stores.
Forsey in a pink scarf?
Still have it. I was freezing my tail end off, and I just happened to run across this scarf for £2, and I bought it. £2, that's money in England. And you know what? If you don't say something nice about me, this boot, you're going to be wearing it. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you got a big crowd there today. I can hear them. Yeah, those are my babies, and I love them. Yeah, Courtney's pregnant with a new baby. I didn't even know I could say it yet. They have to
they said it on that social media thing
before they come to me, because they know I'll tell the world. But we got little Harlan. She's a sweetheart, and Courtney's pregnant again. So Ray Hall's IndyCar driver, doing his job. Way to go, Ray Hall. Love you. His dad, Bobby, won the Indy 500, called me and said, good job for an old guy, went in Charlotte. So they're a great family, and I love them. And life's good.
Who's better at spoiling the grandkids, you or Bobby?
I don't know, but I like to spoil them, but I also want them to be respectful. And you know what I mean? And they are good kids. Got my hat on crooked. This is Pete. They'll bury me in this hat.
Hey, but you got more hair on your head than Ray Hall, so that's
True.
a good thing.
No, don't. I'm finally getting him real. Talk to me. Would you quit that? Yeah. Okay.
Not true.
Hey, John, in your interview after you won the Charlotte,
are you even going to show any of this?
Yes.
I hope not.
Yeah.
That man, run that dinosaur by again. Jurassic Park. I love it.
Hey, you in that interview after you won that race, John, you said something about this might be your last time or something like that. What the hell was that about?
I said last time?
Like this might be the final time or last time?
Oh, because my doctor said, Forrest, you can't run on kill all these years. And I said, well, when did you tell me that? He said, about 30 years ago. He said, we told you. When you were 45, that you can't run like this all the time. Everybody's quitting driving. They're all retiring. IndyCar, they're all done at 35. And I said, I can't quit. I got to make a living. Got babies to feed, Look at Sarah sitting over here. She wants a paycheck. I got responsibility. to my employees. But Robert runs the company. He's the best. You know, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. You want to hear something funny? You think? And I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, just woke up with a nightmare. And I thought, man, I got to go to work. I got a bunch of things I did wrong. I got to fix. And I got to get on the phone to some sponsors on the East Coast. They're up. And I got to find Robert before he comes. Because right now, Robert, you know, he got married. He lives up in, he lives down here, but most of the time. But his wife's in Salt Lake. And he stays in a hotel across the street. And so I go over to the hotel. I got there about 5:30, 5:40. And I'm sitting out front. I said, well, I'll wait till 6 at least. I know he gets up. He goes to work at 7 in the morning. He beats everybody in. And so I'm sitting there out in front. Don't want to bother him, being respectful, making some calls. And this is true, Sarah. And then all of a sudden, he don't come out. And I go, wait a minute. I got to call him. So I called him up. I said, dang, you get up every day. You beat everybody in the office. And the day I'm sitting out front, you know, waiting on you. Where are you waiting? In front of the hotel where you stay. He goes, I'm in Salt Lake. And he goes, have you lost your mind? Too much tire shake. I said, boy, you ain't kidding. I said, what are you doing in Salt Lake? Well, he said, yesterday after I left you, you were heading to the ballpark and I was going to the airport, but you don't listen. I told you I was going to the airport. I said, okay, I buy it. But he was in Salt Lake, so we carried our conversation. And there I was, sitting out here in front of a hotel he wasn't even in. So it's the end of the world for me, but I don't care. I'm going to get new contracts. I'm going racing, okay, till I drop, and that could be any day. But what I said on TV, I could drop because that's part of my act. I'm always crying like I want to milk the TV and get all I can get out of it. So because I love it.
Oh yeah.
We are not worthy.
Yeah, we are.
Wow.
That man.
Mm-hmm. John Force, 16-time funny car champion. Woo! All right. You're still laughing at the same jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Freak Nation, thank you guys for being a part of this. You want to watch us? Be sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Facebook Live tonight, Twitch as usual. Of course, thanks to all of our affiliates for making this thing possible. Lucas Oil, General Tire, and everybody else is part of this big old thing. Richard C. Suave, pretty happy that his sons are all tied up with this, my Dallas Mavericks. Shoot the juice to the moose and Statman.
Cut it loose.
Dip.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.